Today's final adventure takes place in Chatsworth, Georgia, right on the foothills of Fort Mountain State Park, where we're going to trek on that side of the mountain and find the remnants of an old theme park that used to be here in Chatsworth, Georgia. And hello friends, Mr. Nomad Ben here. Thank you for joining me at the final adventure of our Gilmer County and Murray County adventure series for the month of June. So I'm standing right outside downtown Chatsworth as we're going to go to Fort Mountain State Park, around the area right off the mountain. And we're going to go find remnants of the old Frontierland theme park that used to be right on the side of the mountain right behind me. I'm inviting you to come with me. This is really exciting. This is part of a project I've been wanting to check out for quite some time. And again, I want to mention that it is private property, so I was allowed by permission to go onto the property and check this place out for myself. So yeah, I just want to let you guys know in a disclaimer that this is private property. If you guys have any interest in finding parts of an abandoned theme park or a defunct thing, because you never know who owns that property. So luckily I had a connection. So let's go ahead and go to the mountain and let's go check out some history of an old theme park. And here we go.
It's all about where you've been, Nomad Ben. Tell us all about the finer points of living in your traveling. Food, beer, history, nature quest. Every corner of this all to the great Midwest. Tell us all about where you've been, Nomad Ben.
Alrighty folks, so I'm going to make my way up the mountain where I'm going to find chunks of Frontierland that this person is going to show me owns most of the property, what it would have been. But this here is actually that rock formation here, and here would actually be where the entrance to the park would have been, and the chairlift somewhere in the woods. And then all that would be parking property right over here as well. So then you'll get into a chairlift and you make your way up the mountain, which we're heading to right now. Alrighty friends, we made it the way on top of Frontierland right now. And as I showed you guys, the entrance is way down here. But this is actually remnants of the chairlift. They'll take you straight to the park. And as you can see how much the mountain has taken back. So there'll be massive cables and cable cars to get you to the bottom of the entrance of the park, because that's the only way to get up to the mountain was through the chairlift. And according to my new friend Carl here, he says that the reason why this place ran out of business is because of the low maintenance of the chairlift, and there could have just been many other ways for it to come up, but the chairlift was the only way to really get to and fro for guests and workers to come up here. So the chairlift will make its way up from the bottom of this mountain here, and then you'll make a turn this direction. And then you'll make your way down this way, and you'll see another foundation of the chairlift over here. We're kind of walking the path of it. So here's another foundation right here. And then where the end would be, where the camper will be located right over here, is where the people drop off and have a good time. You have the other foundation. It'll kind of start sloping down here and make its way down, because it'll make its way up, because over here will be the restaurants and the restroom. We'll make our way over in a second. And a little Wild West town will be up here. So even though the camper is not part of it, but Carl was sharing the very rich history about this particular camper. And here you go, friends. This is where the end of the chairlift would be. And it's still pretty solid today. I'll show you a pathway, what's compared to the 70s versus today. Like, it just shows that generations before ours just had things to built to last forever. You gotta see the back parts of it here. So the cable car will make its way down here, drop off the guests right over here, and then whoever's gonna leave, hop back on and make their way back down. You go over to the foundation here and cut over there and make your way back down the mountain that way. Of course, this was not full of trees as it was back in the 70s, because it was pretty much all cleared out, so all the attractions could go ahead and build things like this. But the trees in the mountain has retaken its land, so all you got left are these foundations. And in a minute we'll make our way up here where the Ferris wheel and the other rides would be. But let's go over here. So just say that we're just going to pretend that we're guests here for a second. So let's say we got off the chairlift. It's time to use the potty and get something to eat. And here is probably the only thing that's still left here other than the foundations of some parts of the park is the restrooms here. I'm not sure which gender it's assigned to, but this is where the restrooms would have been to go do your business. The remnants of the sinks and the toilets. So it's still standing today, and the foundation is still actually still pretty standing, a little hollow. And over here would be a little bit of fire pits and some grills where people cook their food. Which is kind of like Mother Nature has taken its course to kind of bury up the fire pits and everything that was all to it. So this is one side of the park where guests could go to if they need to eat and get something or use the restroom. Just one of the many views you can get if you were here back in the 1970s coming to Frontierlands. And you could just see for miles and miles and miles on top of this mountain. And directly right ahead of me, you can see it very faint right ahead, that direction. The borders of Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama meet right over there. Also, Dugat Mountain is down that direction as well. Everything you can see. If it wasn't for those trees in the way over here, you can see Point Park that direction. And everybody knows I love me a good view. And just directly right beyond those trees, you'll see, we'll get a closer look in a second, but beyond those trees, that's where the gunslinging would happen. A little Wild West town. It's really cool. Alright, so as I said in the beginning of the vlog that we're pretending that we're guests in this old theme park here. So just to say you got off the chairlift, decide not to get something to eat and use the restroom first. After you get off right over here, you'll make your way over to the shops in the Wild West town, which I'm not going to go too much farther than I am on this property because this is other people's property. Like I said before, it is private property. But right ahead of me, if you guys could see it on the camera, the house over there is actually an old foundation of the Wild West stores and the buildings would be. And just right along this plain and up there would be where all the gunslinging shows would be. And all the shops and ice cream shops would be as well. I'm not going to go any farther than that platform right there, but And here's parts of the platform and pathway right here. Still standing today. 1970. Still standing and still in great shape. And this is what's left of today's time of 2024. Because we are on the mountain. As rainwater and erosion happens, the mountain retakes itself. But things still in 1970 is still standing. Just right over there, like I said, shops, ice cream, and gunslinging shows would happen right up there. And through pockets of the trees here, you'll see some old brick like this. This is actually part of an old pathway from Frontierlands. The rest of it's now all rubble. But you can occasionally see the bricks still today. Okay, so we pretended we're guests that need to use the restrooms and get something to eat real quickly or get on to see the shops and the gunslinging shows up there. But now, let's see what it'll be like if you just want to go ahead and get some rides and get right off over there. You make it up this pathway down this up here. See more of the foundations of the chairlift as you go to see people go up and down the side of the mountain. Gonna make it up this property here. And you'll find the foundations of particular rides that were built all along this side right here. And right where the tree is at and the house is at, that's where the Ferris wheel would have been. And toward the end of the vlog, I'll show you what the views would be like if you're on the rides. So you see here, like the Ferris wheel will be right over here where the house is located, where the garage is at. And then with the other rides, like the bucket ride and the spinny ride, would be all here. Part of the foundation is right where I'm standing right here. There's another foundation for a ride right here. Got more foundation here. But just right where basically things are smoothed out would be where the lines would be and the rides would be. All around here. The whole strip of rides right here. But we'll make our way on top over here. You'll see what kind of views you get. And then you'll get extra views of what it'll be like if you're on the Ferris wheel ride. And this is a very interesting property within itself. We've got a mulberry tree right over here full of delicious berries. Carl let me try one earlier. But he was also telling me that when this land was auctioned off sometime in the 80s, and before they bought this place, after Frontierland closed in the 70s, like I said, because of maintenance issues, the park ran out of business because of the chairlift. So they had to do some bulldozing when they purchased when the property was purchased by a C4 cable company before Carl bought his portion of the land up here. Kind of show off here. Some extra cable from the C4 company right over here. So this is not part of the theme park, but just part of the story of the property. So all the extra cable. But what makes it related to Frontierland is that they had to bulldoze all this before they had to install the extra cables for the cable company. They had to bulldoze all the rides and everything deep into the crevice of the mountain. So again, over time, Mother Nature took its course. And things are just buried down here. So for all we know, there are remnants of the rides or whatever could still be deep in the forest today. But every once in a while, Carl told me he'll get his metal detector and he still finds things today, like little chips of metal that are possibly all part of the rides. That is very cool. So if this place was still in business and we're on the Ferris wheel right now, right where this tree is at would be the Ferris wheel. And those who are on that Ferris wheel, this is the view they're going to get. You can see for miles. And directly ahead of me is Calhoun. And if you're a little more to the left over here, if it was a clear day, you could see the buildings of Atlanta and parts of Cartersville as well. Wow. And that, my friends, ends today's adventure here in Frontierlands of the old theme park that used to be here in the foothills of Fort Mountain State Park in Chatsworth, Georgia. And, you know, like I said before in my other videos, how much I think Murray County needs more love, and it's a very underrated county, and Chatsworth's an underrated town. But you just like look back, it's like, I'm not from here, I'm from Illinois, but I wish I took advantage of the richness of my history of where I grew up. But being down here in the Georgia and Tennessee and the Alabama area, just like, it's amazing what you could find of from generations ago. And who knew that there was a theme park back in the 70s on the foothills of this mountain? Well, you had Lake Winnie not terribly far away from you. Of course, Dollywood's a couple-hour drive from here. You got Six Flags over Georgia, but and then Disney World, of course, in Florida. But you had something precious in your town of Chatsworth. And those who are natives of Murray County, Chatsworth area, be proud that you guys once had a theme park, because that is really cool. Well, friends, I hope you guys enjoyed this particular vlog. Thank you to Carl and his wife Charlotte for allowing me to be on their property today. Again, this is private property, so I would not recommend coming up to the spots of Murray County unless you have contact with somebody that you know that has property within Frontierland. So, but thankfully, I knew somebody that let me in to check this out for you guys. So this is for posterity reasons. I want to preserve the history of Chatsworth for you guys, and this was awesome. I'll see you guys in the next one. Eat well, keep your mind walking. I'll see you guys later.